Kingdom Radio. Looks like we're streaming. We're on. Play some tunes, dog.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to log into my fucking Amazon Music fucking bullshit, right?
Yeah. I thought you already had
But
some.
I don't know my. I do, but I don't know my
Looks like
fucking
we're
password for
streaming.
some
We're
strange
on.
reason. Now my computer's over here. What the fuck? Yeah,
Cool.
because I took it off because it kept popping up all the time.
You know, Kingdom Radio has
Every time I open up-
229 subscribers on the YouTube.
Damn, you got 229 now? That
Two-
video fucking exploded,
No,
bro. That is
not
so
that,
fucking
dude. I'm gonna
awesome,
have
bro.
1,000 by the end of the week. Watch.
That shit exploded, bro. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So
When you hit that perfect. It was talking and everybody's like, where's this shit at? Where's this shit at? And bam, oh, they found it. Then it was likes, and that's what spreads that shit.
So anyway, welcome to the show. I'm not going to sit here like we did last night and just not say anything and sit here fricking with our computers. This is Kingdom Radio. My name is Ron, and I got my homeboy Rockin' Rebel. You can see him online on Twitter at Rockin' Rebel. That's his Twitter handle. What's going on, man? How's Twitter going? You got some followers? Nothing like Joe Lnu, of course, but you got some followers coming in?
Yeah, I mean, most of them are bots, and I end up deleting them, but there is a lot of, there's followers, and I'm over 2 something, but, you know, could have more if I just botted it out, but what are you going to do? It's Twitter. Elon Musk, you know, he took over the world. He took over Twitter. He's shooting rockets into the firmament.
Heck yeah.
Whatever you want to do these days.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I did that Weekend at Bernie's graphic, but I put Weekend at Biden's. I think it's pretty funny, you know, like where they're propping them up in front of the teleprompter, you know. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
The young people don't know what the hell that is.
Nah, they don't know what that is. Like, what the hell's Weekend at Bernie's? You know what I'm saying?
So there's been a lot of traction on
around.
YouTube recently, and the Kingdom Radio YouTube page has blown up with 30-some thousand people in the last week that have been watching it. We thank each and every one. If you're watching, we hope that, you know, some of you guys are going to get, you know, in on the show and watch the show. Would like to cover this Trump thing at CNN. I don't know what's going on with CNN, but they can't be happy with the results of what happened there. What do you think?
No, I mean, because Trump basically sort of tried to tell them what really was going on. People that the real people that know, the patriots, that it's going on. And every time he spoke the truth, he got cut off. Well, cut off. And you know, if they're cutting off, they're over the target.
Yeah, I mean,
that's too many cutoffs.
Trump, it hasn't been no secret. I mean, Trump's been saying, "Hey, fake news. Oh, it's an agenda." You know, they're just meaning to say that. Oh, they're pushing a narrative, fake news. And you know, at first you were thinking he's just being a sore loser. You know, he's just saying that, but that's not true. But then now it's like, you know, he was right about all of it. And when they said, "Come on to our show," after he's been talking smack about it, you know, in high school there'd be a fist fight as soon as the two people met. But they try to debate it out unfairly, I would add. And they try to debate it out, but he really got the upper hand. And it kind of reminded me when Trump and Joe Biden finally resurfaced out of the basement. He finally came out of the basement and he was going to, have a debate with Donald Trump. You're thinking, oh my God, Trump's going to kill him. And he was so overpowering and so overbearing. It was kind of like being a bully. And you felt sorry for Biden in some way, and Trump looked like a bully. But this is just the opposite. CNN looked like the bully, and Trump didn't lose his cool, but he handled the situation. It was a disaster for CNN and all of the Democrats, but it was a big win for the Patriots, and now they're playing backup. And how could you be fair and, you know, interview Joe Biden with that same type of journalism that you tried, you know, with Trump? There's no way. There's no way they would ever ask Biden those questions and cut him off like that. No way.
Oh, hell no. No. Imagine this. If Joe Biden went on Tucker Carlson and have one of those town halls, bro. Woo!
Yeah.
All the stuff you get out, they'd never, ever put Joe Biden in front of Tucker Carlson.
Speaking of Tucker, he's going to be on Twitter now, isn't he?
Supposedly, I guess that's the story. I mean, he put out that video. I mean, I'm sure people have seen the video. It has like 23 million views, but I guess he's just going to go live on Twitter and get some sponsors or something. You know what I'm saying? He'll have My Pillow definitely will sponsor
My
him.
Pillow,
So.
yeah. Yeah, if you put advertisements on Fox News, I mean, that's where careers go to die. I mean, it's like the whole entire country, cancel culture, is trying to kick you off there from the second you get there. Mike Liddell, I don't know the guy personally, but he sure has went through it being a Patriot.
Oh, you don't own none of his products? You don't own anything from My Pillow?
No, I guess I missed
Is that what
that
I'm
wave.
hearing?
Yeah, I missed that wave.
Oh my, bro! You're not a patriot if you don't own anything My Pillow. My
Yeah.
Pillow is awesome. I love their sheets, their slippers. Hey, Mike, hit me up. The Rock and Roll Rebel Show, sponsor me, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. On Kingdom Radio, Mike Liddell, you're welcome to send us some money and we'll talk about My Pillow for sure. The new
Hell
thing
yeah,
is from
shit, I already
Africa,
own
right?
slippers. I don't know about any of that, but
No,
I own
it's
his
that
slippers.
cotton.
They
It
were
was
pretty
only
comfortable.
made in one place in Africa where the thread count of those sheets are made or some crap like that.
Yeah. Those Giza sheets, baby. I
Yeah,
remember those
that's what it
commercials.
is.
They take like a little
That's what
mountain
it
into the
is.
water.
Heck yeah. Well, hey, yeah, we're definitely excited. We do appreciate everyone coming on and viewing Kingdom Radio. Like, once again, this is our very live first time going live on YouTube. So, it's kind of a groundbreaking thing. I'm not saying that, oh man, we really have things figured out and this is like a state-of-the-art show, but I do promise you I won't stop until it gets there. And while we're on the way there, follow our success. Go on Kingdom Radio Texas, Kingdom Radio TX on Twitter, or definitely follow this YouTube page. We'll also be going live on Facebook, Truth Social. We'll be on Rumble. We'll be all over the place soon. We're just kind of honing our skills and building our audience. So we do thank each and every one of you. It looks like 23 of you right now are listening, so we do appreciate that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and also we're going to be covering NFL. So NFL is just like a whole nother animal that we kind of tiptoed and toe tested and dragged our toes into last year. But we have two NFL athletes that like to join the show and talk football with us on Sundays or leading up to the game, pregame stuff. We were talking betting last year. And then, of course, if we're covering the Redskin, both Danny and I have YouTube TV and the Sunday Ticket. So we're going to be watching all of the Washington Commanders games, and we'll be able to bitch and complain about their losses. Another person we're going to be talking about probably is the Pittsburgh Steelers, since we have a former Pittsburgh Steeler that's going to be on the show with us, and the Dallas Cowboys. So if you would like to talk mad smack about the Cowboys, we're the show that you need to listen to every before and after the games for sure. Maybe even during the games. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk all day. I told you I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and how awesome they are not good. You know what I'm saying? That's the direction I would like to take it.
How
We just
awesome they
trash
look
talk.
in the regular season, and how they can't seem to make it to the championship game to save their life. And I don't know how Troy Aikman pats Dak Prescott on the back and says, "Oh man, Dak Prescott, yeah, he's one of the best, and I see all these attributes. If you can't win in the postseason, then I don't see how you need to be put into the same conversation with Patrick Mahomes and some of these other players that are considered to be the best in the league. I don't see how you mention Dak Prescott in that conversation."
They paid him like it, though, didn't they?
What's the alternative? Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, they suck. I mean, you're in a rock and a hard place. You want to play the roulette of QBs, or you want to go with this? You know what I'm saying? And you're like, yeah, he shines, but I mean, he's okay. He's above average, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
for
if I was
someone-
a Redskin fan, I'd take Dak Prescott.
Well, someone who is the self-proclaimed best deal maker in the world, I mean, he's kind of like the Donald Trump of football deals, Jerry Jones. He's actually negotiated a deal with the NFL. He's the only one that's not in the collective bargaining agreement. But him paying Ezekiel Elliott, and then just to find out he's going to be a utility back, he's found his niche in football. It's like, what? They're paying you that much money just to run on third down, third and short? I mean, who are you, Jerome Bettis? Give me a break here. Ezekiel Elliott, that was not a good deal, and they paid him way too much money just to run those few short situations.
Oh yeah, definitely 100%. I'm excited because the Redskins and Cowboys will be on Thanksgiving. So, I always like that. Have some turkey, watch the little Redskins. Hopefully they stomp them out. But
Well, we're close enough in H-Town to go to the game.
Damn.
It's only 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive, but
Looks like
Thanksgiving's
Fort Worth,
tough.
isn't it in Fort Worth? The
No,
stadium?
it's in
The stadium's like
Arlington.
Fort Worth?
It's Arlington.
Arlington, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Arlington,
Arlington.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been there a couple Thanksgivings. It ain't gonna be fun to go and watch the Cowboys, beat up the Redskins if they can't seem to win a game, which has been happening. And I don't know what's going on with the quarterback situation. They've definitely took a few steps back, but they got a couple receivers. I mean, what'd you think about the draft? You watch any of that?
Yeah, I definitely watched the draft. I wasn't too excited about what the Redskins did. I felt like they needed offense. They drafted mostly defense. And then I guess we're gonna have that rookie QB. I can't even think of that guy's name right now, but he's basically gonna be giving the keys to the franchise, baby. Hopefully you don't take that Ferrari and smash it straight into the wall.
Well,
Who knows?
Well, now that Snyder's gone, I mean, who's to say it's not a rudderless ship already? But yeah, that's what's going on with that. But yeah, the Donald Trump. I heard that the show that where were they at? It was in Iowa or something where it got rained out.
Yeah, Iowa. Yeah, he's supposed to have his rally, but
did you hear
the
that
lightning
there
hit
wasn't enough people there, and that's why he canceled it? That's why I was reading some crap on Twitter saying he doesn't want to. DeSantis had a big crowd, but Trump only had 300 people there. That's why they canceled it. But a Trump apologist, of course, are not going to say anything about that. But what really happened was there wasn't enough people to show up. There's only 300 people, and Trump decided to cancel it. I thought it was because of the weather. Is any truth to that, or is that just another CNN fake news bullshit?
That's fake news, baby. Hit the button. Hit that fake news button.
Fake news. I'm going to get all the buttons ready, too. That's another thing I'm going to do is have all the buttons pre-programmed with the stuff I need for the show.
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I thought the town hall thing, he ripped the town hall, and people were going to be excited about that speech coming up. He was on so much momentum. I mean, they're like, and they say Harpa can control the weather. So, maybe they send a tornado over there to stop the train.
It seems so hard to believe that something like that would happen, but maybe. And I posted today the full Mark Levin interview with Donald Trump, where he had that book, Letters to Trump, and all the beautiful letters. The whole book is letters from famous people and, dictators and all kinds of letters to Trump. And that was a really good interview about that book. Apparently you can buy it on Amazon.com right now, Letters to Trump. What do you think?
Awesome.
What do you think Trump's going to do? Covering the 2024 presidential election. I know it's far away, but it's already heating up. And what's interesting, I thought about that CNN. We've done covered it a lot. It hasn't been a lot that's we've posted because we've been trying to get our content ready, how we're going to present it. But a thing I thought was interesting is a presidential Republican town hall by CNN. Why aren't they covering like the multiple candidates that are in the Republican Party? They're acting like there is no primary and Trump definitely is the shoe-in for it. I mean, why do they only have Trump on there? That was kind of puzzling too.
I mean, who's going to get in the ring with Donald Trump, bro? Who's going to get in the ring with Donald Trump? I have no clue who would even bother.
CNN
tried. Ron DeSantis, he has a following. You know what I mean? Ron DeSantis has a following, but he's good for a governor. We want Trump because we know Trump's going to come in and he's going to kick some stuff down. You know what I'm saying? We want revenge, baby. You know what I'm saying?
DeSantis is doing a good job, but he needs to stay where he's at because the job's not finished. But speaking of the job being finished, that's 80-year-old that can barely read a teleprompter, without mumbling all over the place. I'm not trying to say that I could be president or I'm some motivational speaker or I'm just the best speaker in the world, but damn, if you're the president of the United States, you better be awesome at speaking because there's some badass speakers in this country that can work big deals, and it's not just Trump. There's a lot of people who can do it. It's just not Joe Biden. I mean, honestly, take off the table, Democrat, Republican, whatever. It's just not that man. But, moving right along, I think another thing you see is the Title 42 just ended. And that may have more of an impact in Texas than it does, in South Carolina where you are. But, I think there needs to be an easier way for, people coming across the border. And there needs to be a better process that they can become a taxpayer. Raise your hand if you want to be American. Raise your hand if you want to be a taxpayer and be an American and participate. And I think a lot of these guys coming across the border, they would like to get a job. They would like to have papers. They would like to be a taxpayer, and they'd like to put down whatever flag that they're waving and start waving the American flag. They'd love to teach their kids, look, we're in America, we speak American, and we want to be a taxpayer and we want to participate. But America, they make it so damn hard and it's so complicated to become a taxpayer, but we're going further and further and further in debt, and they just let 30,000 taxpayers come across the border and didn't figure out a way that they can become taxpayers. That's a shame on you. I don't care what side you're on. Shame on you to the lawmakers to not want to have more taxpayers when you can't even balance the budget. They haven't balanced the budget since 1960, and it's getting further and further in debt. Why wouldn't you want more money? I mean, legalize marijuana, yes. Legalize gambling, if it makes sense. But more taxpayers coming across the country, you won't be able to complain about the burden that they are on taxpayers because you have more taxpayers. And if you do just a simple fingerprint, you can figure out the criminals and who's sick, like Ellis Island. But a version of that in Texas that you're filtering people through. I think a lot of people who are already here and they've been here for a long time, I think they would sign up to be a taxpayers. Strange as it sounds, a lot of us taxpayers, we dread paying taxes, but I think a lot of people would love to be a part of America and participate in paying taxes. So I just think our politicians need to get their head out of their ass and come up with a solution and quit bitching. That's my job. You're a lawmaker. Your job's to do something about it. And we need more people in the office that are ready to do something about it. And that's why I think Trump would be a good pick. But he's not the only one.
No. I mean, we only pay taxes for the elites, man, so they can have their parties and blow up stuff overseas and stuff like that. Bombs cost money, baby. Bombs cost money, and taxation is theft, baby. Taxation is theft. Tell the government to get their own jobs. You know what I mean? I'll pay my state. You know what I mean? I'll pay my state to fix my roads and make some bridges and stuff like that because there's state tax, there's federal tax, there's sales tax, there's death tax, there's income tax. I mean, I don't know. How long can you play that game?
Yeah, toll roads.
Tax at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, sales tax, you're getting everyone on sales tax. So regardless of who you are, if you come in, you're paying sales tax.
Gas tax.
Yeah, but you're paying tax on groceries and stuff like that. But, real estate, tax, everyone's renting, and income tax. I mean, that's a big one.
But that's a tax too.
Income tax, yeah. But luxury tax. There's different tax on food and stuff. But anyway, taxes, I'm not going to complain about taxes. I understand that it's necessary. I just don't understand why you don't take advantage of people who are dying to become in this country. You figure out a process that can become taxpayers faster than come holler at me in 3 years. I don't get it. I don't get that. That is just straight ridiculous. I mean, there's so many people in America that don't even want to be Americans. Say, who wants to stand for the national anthem? I would proudly stand. I served in the military. I'd die for the country, and I would do it again. But, people won't even stand for the national anthem, for whatever the reason is. Whatever the reason is, there's people dying to come across this border, and they would not just stand. They're risking their life to even have the opportunity to be here. And they know that the system's so messed up, they personally are never going to become a citizen, but their kids will have that opportunity, and it's worth risking their life to come here. And, hats off to them, and shame on the lawmakers for not realizing we need a better system to become Americans.
Yeah, I'm 100%. I used to be like Ellis Island. You know what I mean? You come over by the Statue of Liberty and all that.
Change your name to something more American.
Yeah,
hey, Vicar Tony, what do you think? Or let's just call him Tony. I say, how come everyone's named Tony? Hey,
it's a fugazi.
It's American. No.
That's a good Stallone you got there, bro.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you're going to do. I mean, now they used to come in through the front door. They come in the front door. They would call, hey, I'm going to come over on such and such. Now they just hop in the back of your 6-foot fence, and you're like, what the fuck, bro? And they're grabbing your hamburgers and hot dogs on the way out.
Yeah, I think that's just the news. I mean, here in Texas where I am, we're looking for ways to put as many people to work as possible that want to work. I mean, I don't know when the last time you've been to a restaurant is, but it's hard to hire good quality people because nobody wants to frickin' work. And There's people, employers that would love to pay someone who has that attitude that they want to come to work. They're thanking you for the opportunity of employment, even though they're not even making that much. Let's figure out a way that they can work and be a part of the system. Business owners can hire them. I think it would help everyone, across the board, not to mention more people supporting America, which is great for morale in America. It does less dividing and more bringing people together. And, I think the only really hot topic is, how long do they have to wait before they can vote? I think maybe 5 years.
Yeah, definitely 100%.
5 years of being a taxpayer, you can be 5 years of paying taxes, you can be a voter. I think something like that would be a reasonable line so that you're not bringing people in just to become voters. But I think as far as being American and the American project, I think 5 years, and then you can be a voter. And I think all voters need to have a driver's license, just like you can't go buy a pack of cigarettes without ID. I mean, you can't register your car, buy liquor, alcohol. You need to have an ID to be able to buy those things, and I think you need to have an ID to vote. And we wouldn't have, fair elections. I mean, that's fair as it gets. You have to have some kind of identification of who you are. And if you voted twice or 3 times, someone needs to walk up there with an ID, here's who I am, and then cast your vote, and it's on a paper ballot. So there is no, all the states are doing it differently, and there's definitely the election. I'm not going to go as far as how far Trump went, but election fraud, there definitely was evidence of that. CNN was, I wonder when they are going to apologize and admit that they were wrong, like they were telling Trump to do. I wonder when they're going to admit that they were wrong. Like, no, it's 52 miles. No, the wall. Nope, Grandpa, you only did 52 miles. I know you said you caught a fish that was this big. That's not true. Grandpa was 52 miles. It's like, it's not Joe Biden where you're wiping his ass and putting him in front of a teleprompter. This is Donald Trump. He bit hundreds of miles, and they fact-checked that one. But, CNN's, they're never going to say they're sorry that they were wrong. It doesn't fit the narrative. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
No. CNN's Communist News Network. No one's paying attention
The
to
Communist
them anyway.
News.
Nobody's paying attention.
Things like propaganda.
They got Trump. They sold some high-dollar real estate, They had the after show, Ford and Chevy and Toyota all had advertisements with Big Pharma, Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer. Thank you.
Yeah. What about old Hunter? And because I think the FBI gave him a deadline on the day that Trump went on the CNN. I think that Trump was on CNN just as a distraction of the real news. Yeah. It was like, look, we'll take one for the team. I know Trump's going to beat us up, but let's kind of not mention this whole Hunter Biden's laptop or turning over this incriminating evidence. And they did you see the federal what was his name? He has James Comey. That when they did the
head of the FBI.
Yeah, not the head of the FBI. This is the congressman. When they were doing the thing on Hunter Biden, they were saying that all the money that came over from China and these places, it showed that he was paying his kids and everyone but the hooker, right? But he was paying all these different family members, and everyone was getting this money, and they had like 7 or 8 shell companies that they had found. Dude, they got this dude red-handed and Biden. If his name was Trump, his ass would be underneath the jail right now, not going through bookend. But they got him red-handed. Now they're just playing little smoke and mirrors. And I think that Trump on CNN, that was just something to distract the Patriots, and hopefully they would, be distracted and back down. Then the Title 42 ending, that was another thing, just so people can, change the subject as a politician. Just change the subject. What do you want us 100%. To do? I don't know. Talk about anything but, me, right now. Change the subject and let things die down until I can find a different narrative to push. And I think that's what's going on in our country. It's sad to say, but Trump definitely did handle CNN. That's for sure.
Nah, he steamrolled them, bro. It's like that old Snoop Dogg thing when he knocked down all the buildings in New York. Everybody on the West Coast, on the East Coast, all got mad. And that supposedly started East Coast, West Coast, and best rappers got shot. But what are you going to do? Now, Trump's going to kill, bro. Trump's going to kill. And the only way they're going to get Trump not to win is election fraud. They're going to probably do that, something like that, maybe. every time Trump brought that up, they said no, 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 and he's like, who? We say, they didn't give no results. They didn't give no results.
Yeah, you seen there was more votes than there was people in the state, but there was no evidence. Yeah. No, there was no evidence. There was no evidence of fraud. You're like, there was more votes than people in the state. What are you talking about? How could there be no evidence? It's like there had to be a little bit of evidence. And they had 90 court cases. There had to have been some kind of evidence. I remember watching it. I didn't want to be a sore loser. I'm like, hey, the election's over, and let me just turn Fox News off. It's just I can't take it anymore. But as I was watching it before I turned it off, I mean, they had some pretty convincing cases. I mean, enough to get everyone in uproar where they were following this thing, and they were, thinking, no, he's still my president. And even Trump had he was in Florida saying the office of the president, like we had this. The Southern president, the Patriot president, and the other president. I mean, I think if the people would have, have January 6th, if they would have said, no, we're with you and you're our president, I know some people did, but if more people did it, I mean, how close are we into a civil war? It's not that far-fetched.
Nah. Who are we going to fight? The liberals ain't going to do nothing. Liberals don't own no guns. They don't want none of us, bro. They don't want none of us. We got to convince the people that got all the tanks and the aircraft, bro. That's the ones we're worried about.
Hostile takeover, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, but think about it, man. If Elon Musk ran for president, I mean, regardless, it doesn't matter what he does or says. These people are going to tear him up. Tesla won't be worth anything. It won't. SpaceX will just be diluted because, I mean, they just sit there and attack you from the time that they lose fair and square in the election. They sit there and attack you every single second. Before you even go down the escalator, before you even make it to the White House, they're trying to impeach you right from the very beginning. And the whole entire time, who can perform under that kind of pressure? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, it seems like you're in court every single day trying to defend your life. I mean, who can perform under that kind of pressure? I don't think Trump is the only person I've ever seen that can actually perform under that. And that's why I think he'll make a good president. And you say, well, I don't want him in there because all they're going to do is attack him and we're doing too much fighting with each other and no one's actually tackling the real issues like the value of the dollar and inflation and whatever. But who else could you possibly put in that seat that is willing to risk their billions and billions and billions of dollars and do America a favor by going into that White House and straightening up our country? Because when he said, it's kind of a third world country, you go to Chicago and you go to some of these inner cities, I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. And the more and more people coming in this country, these people, they're not terrorists. They're not bad people. They're just poor, and they're trying to do something for their family. But that doesn't change the fact that there's nowhere to live. People are sleeping in tents. I mean, we need people to help. It's a humanitarian crisis. You almost, don't even need to send money, to all these other countries because you're letting them all in here. Now you can just focus on America because all those other countries, they're here now. So you just focus on, donating to America because all these other countries, once again, have migrated to the promised land, and so to speak. But it might not be as great as they think when they make it to the inner cities. Pretty damn dangerous, actually.
Yeah, no doubt. But here's the thing, though. Maybe they're even being told to come here. You think they're being told to come here?
I don't know. I think people have been trying to be American forever.
But who just roots out of what? They all got clothes on. You know what I mean? They all look like they got stuff. And then they're just like, oh, we're going over to America? But they're wearing like Adidas and Gucci. I mean, what? I don't understand where they're coming from. Where they're just uprooting. All right, we're going to America, bro. Woo! Yeah. Red, white, and blue.
Yeah. Did you see that movie? Yeah. Everything's like that.
I don't know what they're doing.
I tell you
they
what,
try to say it's Mexicans. It's not Mexicans. It's everybody else.
I seen something the other day, and I seen this movie Ben Affleck is Pearl Harbor. You seen that one?
Yeah, I seen that.
So they're just sitting there chilling in Hawaii. Everything's good, honky dory, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of planes are flying over, bombing you, and all of a sudden, snap of a finger, not by your choice, you're in war, getting shot at. I mean, it gets that real that fast. And I don't know that the America today, I don't know that they'd be ready for it. And I'm not talking about the military. The military, of course, is the best military on the planet. But I'm talking about just the American citizen saying, hey, stop what you're doing. We're building tanks. We're doing this. And it's like, well, no, hold on. Let's talk about my feelings. It's like, dude, this ain't time for that. We're at war. And, sometimes you don't wish that upon someone, but it might be the best thing for them to wake them up and they can realize the reality of just like the ones who came before you fought for this free country that you live in, now it's your turn to fight and die for it. And you better be ready because they're coming shooting guns. Ready or not, here I come. It's not that far-fetched to say if it's not in our generation, our grandchildren are definitely going to be fighting with China. With the money that we helped them buy the guns that we're shooting at our grandchildren, that's not that far-fetched.
No, you're 100% right, but I don't even think warfare is going to be like that anymore. Warfare now is like planes, bro, and nukes and big-ass missiles and drones. I mean, imagine the Civil War. They used to stand up in front of each other like, hold on. We're all going to load, and then we're going to fire at each other, bro.
Yeah, everybody stay still. Let me get a good aim on you.
That's why we kicked their ass. We're like, we're going to hide. You dummies are going to march, and we're going to mow you down one by one and run, shoot.
Oh, bro, I'll tell you right now. It'd be like, remember the DC sniper?
Yo, I was scared of that, bro. I was so scared back then.
But you was pumping gas, dancing.
Gas, bro.
Yeah, you was like pumping gas, bobbing and weaving shit. Like, you're like, honey, why don't you get out and pump gas? Hell no, I ain't trying to get shot. And you'd be like pumping, like looking at for a white van.
Yeah, that was right up at DC where we was at, man.
Hell yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, so me and Rebel, he's my cousin. He lives in South Carolina, obviously. I'm in Houston, Texas. But we, lived in Virginia, especially during the DC sniper. And was it John Lee Malvo or something like that?
Yeah, it was Malvo and what was the kid? The kid was
Wasn't
Malvo.
he a
I can't remember
Malvo
the
too?
one dude.
Yeah,
they
executed both of them, or one of them still alive?
No, the teenager I think is still in prison, and then they executed the one guy.
The dad.
But they were just running around. You'd be at Home Depot and you get shot in the head, bro. They were driving in the back of a car, laying down with a hole in the back of the trunk, bro. This is psycho.
Yeah, like at the Sizzling. And you're like, look, if the nicest restaurant you can afford is the Sizzling, I mean, what a knockoff for someone to shoot you while you're in the parking lot at this restaurant you can afford to go to. I mean, that is just the ultimate. Definitely death penalty is necessary for that.
Yeah, you gotta weed all that. But I mean, you gotta think about it now. I mean, you just got all these commercials and kids on whatever from pharmaceuticals and. Everything's crazy now. Everything's crazy. You got elections, was it stolen 2020? I don't know. But I seen stuff that makes it seem that way.
I mean,
then you just had the Durham report come out and the FBI knew they were lying. So what are we going to do? We got to vote, people. We got to vote for Donald Trump.
I don't know if the election was stolen, but was the election fair and square? It might be a better question. I think the answer is hell no, dude. There was so many different things that showed it wasn't. And then not only that, Trump has been saying a lot of things since he got in office. He was talking about fake news, and he was right about the whole damn thing. When he was talking about the Russia collusion, clearly it's been proven that he was right at the end. And you're thinking maybe he's right, maybe he's not, but it's been proven he's right. And then when you've seen Twitter and Elon Musk bought Twitter and they start showing that the FBI was interfering about taking things down for politically charged in the election, he was right about all of that. Every single bit of that, he was right about it. And it kind of makes you think like, is it like an entertainment propaganda is really what our news is? Because Fox may be the only news that's covering the real news, and even they're leaning so far right. I mean, they're not exactly in the middle with the news. They have their own narratives. But the Democratic news, that's entertainment propaganda, I'll call it, it's amazing that people actually believe that shit. I mean, you'd have to be brainwashed every single day after the coronavirus of them scaring you into listening tonight at 9. I think in the next 10 years, Rebel, that people won't, it'll be just like terrestrial radio. I mean, right now, would you turn on 95.5 WPGC 95.5 and listen to the station with all the freaking commercials? Hell no. No one listens to regular radio anymore. And I think in 10 years from now, no one's going to be listening to actual mainstream news. I think they'll be getting it from channels like ours on YouTube, where you actually hear the real news from a different perspective, versus this completely left Democratic news or completely right, right-wing news. I think people will get their information from a network of YouTube and online news platforms like the one we're putting together right now. I really think that's the future of America, and I think we'll see that roll out in the next, couple of years, but you're already seeing it now. Everyone wants to be a social media influencer, and everything's about AI. So AI can power the same thing that the news is getting the information, but probably better. And if they can figure out a way, like Elon Musk says, to make it non-biased. When you ask a question, he said the problem with AI has been taught to be politically correct. And being politically correct is not the absolute truth of what's going on. And so he actually backed out of what he started, ChatGPT. But it sure is nice to write papers and shit.
Yeah, the problem too is with the news, the legacy news, the New York Times, the Washington Post, NBC, ABC, Fox News, CNN, CBS. They are all given talking points. They're all given talking points. There was like a Freedom of Information Act, Project Mockingbird. Is basically these agencies paid people to go onto the news. They leak stories to the papers. They're all running, and I think you're 100% right. They're collapsing. It's only boomers that are on like cable networks and stuff like that. All the people are on YouTube now or Rumble and stuff like that. That's where it's at. Twitter, Facebook's dying. They're all dying. So I think that they're all crumbling, and they're fighting to get some space out here in YouTube, and they want to censor and all that. So maybe they'll turn that into the new TV because they're going to make everybody self-censor,
I mean, every time you post something on, say, YouTube or say Facebook or something, you'll say, they're going to take that down. They're going to take that down. They're going to fact check that. They're going to take that down. And some of the shit that Facebook was fact checking, you now know to be false. And he's like, when are you going to keep on fact checking when you were clearly wrong? You called it a fact. How can it be a fact when you were wrong? That's the fact. As you were wrong about a lot of the shit you were fact checking. Who the hell is fact checking you? Joe Biden? That's ridiculous. Speaking of which, have you heard those White House conferences? It's amazing that there's only one person that represents the Republicans asking questions. And I mean, it's the rudest people in the world. Every time this man asks a question, I mean, it has to be a tough job to be a Republican reporter at the White House at these fucking press conferences.
No, they're all plants. They're all plants. I mean, Fox News has that Peter Dorsey, Ducey guy, but I mean, he's okay. But the Fox News is only as far as they want us to go. They're like, all right, we're going to edge you over here. If you want to get real radical, you go to MSNBC where everybody's a racist.
Yeah,
and then do you see when Joe Biden?
Kid.
Yeah, Joe Biden was at the Howard HBC giving the speech because Howard's all black college, and then all of a sudden they rolled out those Fed Patriot guys all in their suits and wearing masks. It's like, come on, bro. I mean, we're in the Matrix. Maybe I don't know. They all say we're in the Matrix, and
you think so?
I mean, I don't know. It's all the lies. It's the blatant lies we see, and it's like, what? Keep going, bro. You gotta work, bro. You need to pump your gas.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares. It's like whatever, bro. Whatever.
Well, look at that. We got 23 people watching total.
Is there 23 people in here?
Well, I'm looking at 3 that's watching on YouTube, and I'm looking at 20 over here is listening to on the other platforms. So that's not bad for the first night, 23 people. And for those of you listening, we really appreciate you. I mean, if I haven't said it, it's been my dream to actually do this one day, and I'm sure you're listening. You're thinking the same thing. You have your own message to get out. You want to get a podcast. You want to have a show. And here at Kingdom Radio, we want to help you. If you have your own show, cool, but I'd like to have a collaboration. We'll probably get a couple shows together on a channel that we're doing. So once again, we really appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, it's right there on the screen, Kingdom Radio Texas #, or My cuz rock and roll rebel on Twitter tweeting. What you got to say about Twitter, man?
And YouTube.
I've learned a lot on Twitter. What have you learned today on Twitter? Which is definitely a show in itself.
The Durham report, I learned that the FBI lied about Russia and Trump being colluded, and Barack Obama was spying on Trump. Joe Biden knew about it.
Did you see the
it.
Miller Lite commercial with the women activists? Oh, dude. I bet you I could probably pick it up, but it's Miller Lite had this thing where they were going through women. They were buying all the back so they could make some better with it. So all the stuff with women in bikinis and all this other crap that they were talking about in the 60s about they don't want women, looked at in that way. They're shredding it all, and they're buying all that stuff back, and they're obviously trying to take advantage of Budweiser's terrible advertising, and they're trying to say, look, we're real women. Let's talk about real women issues and how women are perceived. Let's talk about real women on Miller Lite. And I think it's perfect timing, and it's very tasteful. I think it was a great idea, Miller Lite. Or Miller.
No,
Coors Miller Brewing.
Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Miller Lite can sponsor the Rock and Roll Rebel Show on YouTube and Rumble. Follow me on Twitter, baby. Give me that money.
Yeah.
Give me that money.
Budweiser could sponsor too, right?
No.
Budweiser's yeah, you're like Tupac. Baby. I get around. Round and round.
On the list.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
I can't believe Budweiser though. I'm surprised people are sticking to it because you know how people love to drink the certain beers and stuff. And Bud Light has very loyal. They were very loyal. They stuck around. They had Bud Heavy or Bud Light, but now they're gone, man. Their sales is dropping. So,
well, you can only push a man in the corner, but so far until they're in the corner completely. And there's a lot of people been pushed into the corner about, let's just be nice, dude. Let's not be mean. Let's be nice to people, bro. Let's just be nice.
That's awesome.
And then you're like, I can't watch a show without this person or this situation somehow portrayed on it. And you're like, damn. Or by the third season, there has to be two guys kissing and, having sex. It has to be by the third season, or there's no way you can have the show go further. And you even see it in music where they're just watering down everything. And at some point, you're like, man, you're just tired of this shit. You're like, man, I'm done, dude. I'm done.
Well, if you think about it, when did they start playing it with us? I guess, remember the Real World, that Pedro guy back in probably, I don't know, early 90s? That was like the first gay stuff. Well, no, what was Elton John, right?
No, I think it was Big Brother. Big Brother.
Big Brother had the gay guy, and then
everyone had it.
This trickled in, but now it's everywhere, bro.
Oh, you can't watch a commercial. You ain't gonna see gonna see some white boys on a commercial. It ain't happening. Nobody's risky enough to do that. Nobody.
How do you explain that to your kids, bro? How do you explain that to your kids? You see like two dudes kissing or something. You're like, well, I don't know. Son.
I think we won that one. If you wanted to make this, let's be okay with this. Let's not have a problem with this. That's a win. That's a win for sure. I mean, I think, when people say, they see two people gay, I don't think no one freaks out like maybe they did 30, 40 years ago. I think it's pretty normal in America right now, and I don't think a lot of people have a problem with it. I mean, obviously, two guys, they're not going to be able to produce a baby without adoption or something like that, or two women for that matter as well. But, those are the situations and choices that you make. But I think people are okay with that. But I think now that we're going to the LGBT turn into 10 other letters and a plus sign, I mean, as far as a business owner, I don't think that you say you're LGBTQ ABC 1, 2, 3 plus friendly. I just think you can just do a blanket statement these days and just say, I'm Democrat friendly here at this business, and just cover everybody up with one statement.
Yeah, I don't even like that too much. I feel like, self-censor. You're going to self-censor. And I don't want to do it. Remember, there was so much stuff we would say back in the day that's frowned upon now. It's like,
you talk about Eminem again?
Eminem, yeah, exactly. Just the stuff that he would say in his rap songs. And it was sort of everywhere. I mean, even if you go back to like the 60s and 70s, like Archie Bunker and all that, they were saying the N-word on TV. And they were smacking women. I mean, I don't know. I get all that.
Nobody did it like Dave Chappelle, though. Nobody did like Dave.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle was playing White Klansman,
Yeah,
but he was black.
what
and
was
like,
his name? Grigsby, Colton Grisby or something like that. It's like wonder why
Yeah,
he's
something.
trending on. It was because what was it? It was that Hispanic guy in Allen, in the Dallas area, and he was like
Uh-huh.
had like these swastikas on his arm. And you're like, what? And they're like, oh, he has ties to neo-Nazi beliefs or something. It was like, what? It's like, what the hell? I've never thought. I mean, I understand racist. I mean, we can go ahead and say this here. It doesn't have a color. Racist does not have a color. You could be racist regardless of what your color is. But
No.
it really opens your eyes to, there's a lot of people that are very unsuspecting of that title. But there you go, man. The mass shooters. It's kind of getting crazy. There's so many people shooting, and Trump kind of talked about that one in the CNN thing, but he was kind of alluding to people are sick, and not just sick, but mental illness is really big in America. And you have mental illness and the gun. He said the guns ain't pulling the trigger, it's the people are pulling the trigger of these guns. And mental illness is a big thing in America, and I cannot disagree with that either.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And that's what it is. They pump it on TV. You see it all day. They pump it on TV, pump it on TV, pump it on TV. Pfizer. Like, you have this. Oh, you might have diarrhea. You might get headaches. You might pass out. Some you die on. It's just like for everything. It's like there's a pill for everything now. And we never had that growing up like that. We never had that.
I know. It's like
People
the Call
wanted
of
to get
Duty.
high,
It's like,
or
how
they
everybody
wanted
wants to
to drink
blame some shit
beers
on
or
something. Like, well, it's because he listened to Eminem, and that's why he did. Oh, well, it's because he was listening to Snoop Dogg or whatever. It's because he was playing Call of Duty, and that's why he did that. Or remember, before Call of Duty, it was Grand Theft Auto, and that's what it's like. It's not that. It's like, what you're doing is wrong. That's a fucking video game. Give me a break, dude. I mean, it's like your mama ain't here anymore to say, oh, it's okay. I just let him yell at me and be, but it's better than having to spank his ass and all this shit. It's like, no, this is real life. They put your ass into the penitentiary. It's like, a dog that doesn't act right. Sometimes you have to go back to crate training. And unfortunately, there's a lot of human beings that are heading in that direction if they're not already there. Crate trained.
Yeah, and it's only going. Yeah, it seems like we're just going downhill. That's the thing. It just seems like we're going downhill, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's definitely fun jumping on like this. I definitely like jumping on like this.
Yeah, what do you think about Joe?
Joe's not bad at all. I like Joe. He's got a different insight. He's very intelligent, and he brought up some good stuff. And he's got some great videos, man. I don't know where he finds these videos.
Dude, he lives on freaking Twitter. I'm telling you, Joe Lnu, he used to work for me, work with me, be a better way of saying it, for 3 years. And he's probably the sharpest guy I ever met, between being an Army Ranger, Army drill sergeant. He was an undercover police officer. The guy knows the Constitution inside and out, and he knows the Bill of Rights. And every time you talk to him, he can tell you procedures and who's right and what the, how this is. I mean, he's so knowledgeable. He's a great person to have on the show. And to be honest with you, covering the political election, part of the reason why I wanted to do this is because of Joe Lnu. And Joe is actually not his real name. He's an average Joe, and Lnu, in the police talk, Lnu means last name unknown. Like Fanu Lnu is first name unknown, last name unknown. So it's Joe Lnu, but he's a really good guy. He's a family guy, and just because of his law enforcement work, he thinks it's probably better not to put his name out there. But I am glad that he's on the show. He's not on tonight, but Joe Lnu, JOE_LNU on Twitter. He's blowing up. He's at the 700 club. He just had 700 followers, and this man has never been on social media ever. But ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, he's been taking it seriously, and it surprised the hell out of me, but he's really doing a good job, and you'll see him on the next show. But anyway, you have any closing thoughts, man, before we jump off this?
No, I just want to say that make sure everybody gets out and you vote. You got to vote. I mean, that's the only way we're going to get this back. I don't know if it'll help, but if you vote, you're going to get things done. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on the Rock and Roll Rebel Show on YouTube, Rumble. And let's be blessed, baby. Be blessed. God is real.
Hey, man, got some music to pump us out? Got some music on that board?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that was the first live episode of Kingdom Radio. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. That concludes our very first live one. Let us know how we did. If we didn't do a good job, let us know. If we